Wellness Rhythm Show. Find your rhythm. Live your wellness.
Y'all, here's a question. When did a glass of wine stop being a glass of wine and start being a public health debate?
Right, and that debate has shifted dramatically in just the last few years. The World Health Organization put out a statement in 2023 saying essentially no level of alcohol consumption is safe. Full stop.
Which, I have to be honest, stopped me mid-pour at a dinner party. And I thought, wait, what happened to all those studies about red wine and heart health? Did I imagine that?
You didn't imagine it, but here's the thing. The science has genuinely moved. And today we are getting into what it actually says now, not what we were told 10 years ago.
So let's start at the beginning, because I think a lot of our listeners, whether you're someone who has a beer on a Friday or a nightly glass of wine to decompress, you're probably feeling a little confused right now.
Completely understandable. For decades, the dominant narrative was built around what researchers called the J curve, the idea that moderate drinkers had better cardiovascular outcomes than non-drinkers.
I remember that. It was everywhere.
It was. But here's what's been unraveling it, a research method called Mendelian randomization. Scientists like Dr. Tim Spector at King's College London have been part of this broader conversation. The basic problem with older studies is that people who don't drink at all often include former drinkers who quit because of health problems.
Oh, so the non-drinkers in those studies were already sick, and they made moderate drinkers look healthier by comparison.
Exactly. It's a classic confounding variable. When you control for that, the protective effect largely disappears.
Okay, that is genuinely alarming. And also a little annoying because I feel like I built some mental architecture around the Mediterranean lifestyle includes wine, so I'm fine.
Ha, right. And to be fair, the picture is nuanced. It's not a single dramatic moment where all the science flipped overnight.
So walk us through what we actually know. What does the current evidence say alcohol does to the body?
So, the International Agency for Research on Cancer, which is part of the WHO, classifies alcohol as a Group 1 carcinogen. That's the highest category, meaning the evidence that it causes cancer in humans is unambiguous.
Same category as tobacco?
Same category. It's linked to at least 7 types of cancer: mouth, throat, esophagus, liver, colon, rectum, and breast cancer. And importantly, the risk for some of these, particularly breast cancer, starts at low levels of consumption.
Here's the thing, though. That's the part I think most people genuinely don't know. They think the risk is about heavy drinking, binge drinking.
And heavy drinking carries enormous risk, absolutely. But the breast cancer link, for example, a 2022 analysis in The Lancet Oncology showed meaningful risk increase even below what most guidelines call moderate.
As a woman in her late 30s, that information hits differently than it did when I was 25 and not really thinking about it.
Which is exactly why this episode matters. Now, to be fair, alcohol does affect different systems differently. The relationship with cardiovascular disease is genuinely more complicated. Some researchers still argue there may be a modest benefit from very light drinking for certain heart-related outcomes.
So we're not saying every sip is equivalent to smoking a cigarette.
No, that would be overstating it, but the Canadian Centre on Substance Use and Addiction revised their national guidance in 2023. They moved from saying 2 drinks a day was low risk to saying 3 or more drinks per week puts you in a moderate risk category.
3 per week, David, that's basically a long weekend for some people?
For a lot of people, yes, and that's not a judgment. It's just the shift in what low risk now means according to the evidence.
So what does this mean practically? Because I think this is where listeners might start to feel defensive, and I want to be honest. I felt a little defensive researching this episode.
Brilliant point. And I think the defensiveness is worth naming. Alcohol is deeply embedded in social rituals. It's how a lot of us celebrate, grieve, decompress. That's real.
It's not just a habit, it's cultural, it's relational. Telling someone to just cut it out ignores that entire dimension.
Right, so the practical framing I find most useful comes from researchers like Dr. Sarah Jarvis, who talks about using this information not as a reason for shame, but for informed decision-making, same way you'd weigh any other lifestyle factor.
Which is how I've landed on thinking about it. It's not alcohol is poison and you're terrible. It's more, okay, knowing what I know now, what choices make sense for me?
And one genuinely useful tool here is what some researchers call alcohol-free days. The UK's National Health Service recommends at least 2 consecutive alcohol-free days per week, specifically to let your liver recover. It also interrupts habituation, that creeping shift where 1 glass becomes 2 without you noticing.
Oh, habituation is real. I watched that happen slowly during the pandemic, and I don't think I was alone.
You were absolutely not alone. Alcohol sales increased significantly during 2020 and 2021 in both the US and UK. and several studies flagged corresponding increases in liver disease presentations.
Y'all, if you're finding this valuable, and I think this is genuinely one of the more important conversations we've had on this show, please do us a favor and hit like and subscribe. It's how other people find us, and honestly, this kind of evidence-based conversation is exactly what we're here for.
Strongly seconded. Now, let's dig into what actually happens physiologically when you cut back or take a break, because this is where the data gets encouraging.
Yes, let's end on something actionable.
Studies from the Royal Free Hospital in London, this goes back to a well-known piece of research, but it's still referenced, showed that even a 1-month break from alcohol produced measurable improvements in liver function, blood pressure, cholesterol, and sleep quality.
Sleep. That's the one that got my attention, because I used to think a glass of wine helped me sleep.
Almost everyone does, and it does help you fall asleep. Alcohol is a sedative, but it fragments the second half of your sleep cycle significantly. It suppresses REM sleep, which is the restorative stage.
So you're getting hours in bed, but not quality sleep, which explains why I'd wake up at 3 a.m. feeling like I'd run a 5K.
Precisely. Matthew Walker's research at UC Berkeley, published in his book Why We Sleep, covers this in detail. Even modest amounts of alcohol measurably reduce sleep quality.
Here's the thing, though, and this is where I want to push back a little, David. I think for a lot of people, especially in the sandwich generation, alcohol has become the primary stress management tool. And just saying drink less without addressing that feels incomplete.
That's a fair challenge, and you're right. The research bears it out. In populations managing high stress, caregiving, financial pressure, alcohol often fills a gap where other coping tools are absent or inaccessible.
So the question isn't just, should I drink less? It's, if I drink less, what am I replacing it with? Because the need underneath it is real.
That reframe is actually supported by behavioral science. Dr. Rangan Chatterjee talks about this in the context of habit replacement. You need to address the underlying driver, not just remove the behavior.
Which connects back to episodes we've done on breathwork and sleep hygiene and just building a toolkit. This isn't a moral conversation, it's a practical one.
And that's exactly the right landing place for it.
Okay, so if you're taking one thing away from today, and I want to make this as unoverwhelming as possible, it's this. The science has moved, and it's worth knowing that. You don't have to overhaul your life tonight, but even reducing your drinking by 1 or 2 occasions a week and building in consecutive alcohol-free days has measurable benefits for your liver, your sleep, and your long-term cancer risk. Start there.
And if you'd like to look deeper into the evidence, the Canadian Centre on Substance Use and Addiction's 2023 guidance is publicly available and remarkably clear. So is the WHO's 2023 statement, worth 10 minutes of your time. Right. On that note, informed choices, not perfect ones.
That's all we've got today, y'all. Thank you for spending this time with us. We really mean it when we say we want this show to be the friend that gives it to you straight. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Share this one with someone you care about, and we will see you next time on the Wellness Rhythm Show. This show is part of the VoxCrea.AI system. If you want a show like this for your organization, without building it yourself,
go to VoxCrea.AI and request a sample episode.